In my tribute, I wanted to give you a sense of who Mum really was to us, and I'll be sharing with you what she loved in life. She taught us how to be a family and insisted that we get together and fellowship as a family at every opportunity. On the next few slides are just a few of Mum's favourite things. This isn't the official photo tribute, but I have used photos to illustrate some of my points. Mum loved Julie Andrews. She loved the royal family. She loved Precious Moments figurines. She loved Comic Sans font, so in her honour, the titles have been changed to Comic Sans. Mum loved sending emails. Mum loved Revels chocolates from the UK, and I always knew where she kept her secret stash. Mum loved to send God's love and blessings to everyone she met. Mum loved flowers, so much so that her kitchen had them on the wallpaper. She would have the house filled with flowers at every opportunity. And during the past week, the family and I have had such an outpouring of love in many forms, including flowers, which has given me so much comfort knowing that Mum would be so happy. These pictures are just a few of the bouquets that we've received this week. Mum, thank you for teaching me to appreciate the pretty things in life and to wake up and smell the roses. After such a long time of waiting, Mum chose Sapphire and Ruby, her new ragdoll cats, to come into the family last November. They shared the same birthday as her, and Sapphire and Ruby gave her so much joy these last few months. Mum loves singing in choirs. In the early days, as we have heard, she sang at Holy Trinity Brompton. In Leamington Spa, she sang in the singing group, and here in Clevedon, Mum loved to sing at Christmas every year, right on this very stage, in the Christmas choir, led by Gina. She would always make sure that someone was photographing or videoing the event. Mum, thanks for making sure that our house was always filled with such beautiful music. Mum loved and adored Dad so very much, and they just fit together. Through the years, they've had many adventures, but as each year has gone by, their love grew deeper and deeper. My young father turned 70 recently, and our dear mother organised a surprise helicopter trip to Waikiki with some beautiful friends of ours. We had such a wonderful day, and the surprise that Mum pulled off was just another example of how deeply she loved him. Mum, thank you for teaching me that love is an action, and when times get tough, love is a choice. Mum loved us, her daughters. Mum was always our biggest supporter. She would be the first one there when Louise was singing in a concert, or Kath was leading her senior exercise class, or when I was skating in a competition. Whenever we were away on holiday without her, Mum would always be there at the airport, waiting in the arrivals lounge. And when we came through the door, she would always give a little yelp of sheer delight as we walked through. She found comfort in knowing that we were safely back home and close to her. Thank you, Mum, for always taking the time to show us exactly how much you loved us. Mum loved a good old get-together, and Christmas and birthdays. She'd always make sure we had such a wonderful family time. One year she insisted on having 2 Mother's Days though, one for the UK and one for New Zealand. At Christmas we all had masses of gifts because she loved them too. She would welcome anyone into the house with her intense hospitality, and of late our friend Jessica has become one of the family. And Mum would always make sure that she too had the same amount of gifts because, well, that's just what you do to make people feel special. At any opportunity, a party would be thrown as a part of a celebration, either by herself or by us on her behalf. Her 60th, her 70th, Dad and Mum's Ruby wedding anniversary are just a few examples. And Mum would come alive when these opportunities were given to her to party. I think that's where I get it from. At any celebration, there just had to be cake, and whether she made it herself or ordered it in, it just wasn't a celebration without good cake. Mum, thank you for filling our house with laughter and providing us with such special memories. From the start, Mum loved her family. She came from a large family of cousins who she spent many happy times with, although she was an only child herself. This first picture was at her christening, where she shared with her twin cousin Biddy. Mum had many people in her extended family. The most notable, as we've heard, were the slavers from the USA, who first came into our lives in 1986. Mum made sure that they were part of the family, and we were so fortunate to be able to spend some quality time together with them late last year when they came over here. Mum loved taking photos at every opportunity, not least a family gathering. All proceedings would actually have to stop so that the perfect photo could be taken. Her last memories to me in the hospital when she was conscious was, "Take photos, Mary. Mum, I promise I'll live your legacy of taking photos." As we've heard, Mum loved encouraging people. Whenever there was anything that was on my mum's heart, she would be the first one to let her social network know that the person would bring to her such joy. She was just a great encourager. Just recently, when Charles and Paula were here, she invited all her friends over and who she thought would benefit from their singing and fellowship. She also loved throwing concerts at home. Another area where Mum was able to give and receive encouragement was her Friday morning group called Bubble of Love. I knew that meant so much to her, and she lived each week for that time of fellowship and friendship with special ladies. Mum would speak blessings into people's lives at every opportunity. Mum, thank you for teaching me to share positivity, love and light, and that teaching me that words can make an impact. Mum loved the finer things in life. I'd always joke that my mother was a princess. She liked to have nice things around her. From when I was a little girl, our mother-daughter adventures would include a nice hotel, and if we were in London, then a show at the West End. If afternoon tea was called for, then the Sky Tower would never do. It always had to be the Langham Hotel. 12 years ago, Mum was able to live her dream and stay at the Versace Hotel in the Gold Coast, taking us all with her, where there were so many more happy memories made. Thank you, Mum, for teaching me to appreciate the nicer and finer things in life. I will try and forever live up to your legacy. Mum, you had such a deep smile from ear to ear. You were loved, and we will all miss you terribly.
I sat down to write something to share today. I really didn't know what to say. It's hard to find the words to sum up who my mother was, because she was so very many things. How do you sum up a life in a few words? She was a larger-than-life personality and wanted to be involved in everything. She was loving, encouraging, mischievous, and at times not tactful, because she always said exactly what she thought. She was a princess and liked the finer things in life and wasn't afraid to make that obvious. She was generous and kind. She was always wanting to do something to bless people. She went out of her way to reach out to people and to encourage them in some way, whether it was by sending them a card or a message or face-to-face, giving encouragement, praise or comfort. She believed wholeheartedly in the comfort that God would bring above all else. She touched so many people, which has become obvious from the wave of love and support and sorrow that has come out to us in this time. And it's also obvious from the crowd of people here today to celebrate her and her life. She was so much to so many people, but to us she was the heart and soul of our family. A lot of people have said to me in the last few days how we have such a strong family unit filled with family, filled with love, and that's a credit to both of our parents. She made a huge deal of family time, of daughter time, birthdays and Christmases. She would be there at the airport to greet us after a holiday and squeal with joy when we walked through the door, even if we'd only been away for a few weeks. She was the organiser, the communicator, and the hole that she's left is not one that can never be filled. She taught me so many things, far too many to list today, lessons which I hope will stay with me forever. I remember she used to say to me when things get tough and I'd get frustrated with life or what was happening, and she'd say, "Don't lose your tender heart, Louisa. Don't let the world harden you." And I will try and keep to that as I move forward through this. I wanted to finish by reading this poem today, which I think sums a lot of what we've been feeling really well. It's called "Come to Me," author unknown. God saw you getting tired, and a cure was not to be. So he put his arms around you and whispered, "Come to me." With tearful eyes we watched you, saw you pass away. And though we loved you dearly, we could not make you stay. A golden heart stopped beating, hard-working hands at rest. God broke our hearts to prove to us he only takes the best.
Louisa, thank you all the family for sharing with us today. It's hard enough when you're grieving and going through what you are, let alone having to public speak as well. And we just want to honour you today and thank you for opening your hearts up. Thank you. Family have asked a couple of friends to speak. I'd like to invite Robin Brown now to come and share.
From glory to glory, he's changing me and transforming me. From glory to glory, he's changing me. How wonderful it is to be free. Those words are the words of one of Jane's favourite songs. They were written by friends of hers. And how precious those words are today. I stand here counting myself as a dear, dear friend. We shared many things in common. We loved music, especially singing. We loved family, we loved people, and especially we shared our love of the Lord, and we loved to talk about the Lord. She was a valued member of our Friday Ladies Bible Study, which she had named Bubble of Love. And greeting her on a Friday morning was like greeting the sunshine. She would come in with open arms and a beautiful big smile, and she always said the same thing. She said, "I am so pleased to be here." Last Friday we prayed for her as she was going to have surgery, and she said she was believing for a miracle, and she said that in the spirit she could see light all around her. As you've said, miracles come in various disguises. We all loved her so much, and she loved us. She was such a valued, contributing member of our group. We will miss her so much. I was thinking, what would she want me to say briefly today? And so I would say to the family, our hearts go out to you. She loved you. You were her life. Jeff, her rock, her love. Your well-being was just absolutely uppermost important to her. There were times when she would just say privately and quietly to me, "Pray for Jeff. He's going through a lot at the moment." That's all she would say. But we would pray in agreement together, the two of us, and we would agree that God's highest good would be poured out and his blessing in your life, outworked in your life. She absolutely believed in the prayer of agreement. Catherine, lovely eldest daughter, your times of sharing spiritual things together blessed her so much. You understood her love for the Lord, and you were able to share those deep times together. Mary, how proud she was of your strong, intelligent, and independent leadership spirit. She believed that you could achieve anything. She believed in you. Louisa, her baby, she'd have still called you that even if you were twice the age that you were. How she delighted in your sweet singing voice and your singing roles and your performances. She took the credit for that. She leaves a legacy in the church of dedication to the Lord and her Saviour Jesus Christ, of friendship, of love and of prayer. And in her memory and in her honour, I choose to continue that legacy. All you dear ones gathered here today are testimony to how she impacted you, each one of you. Her delight would be for you too to continue in that example of godly living. From glory to glory, he's changing me and transforming me. Transformation complete, darling girl.
I'm not used to public speaking like this at funerals. The only time I've ever done it is at my mum's funeral, but I know Jane would be saying, I'm praying for you, Heather, as she did so often. But I have called upon my husband to stand here and to carry on for me if I can't carry on. So here we are. Jane and her family arrived in Clevedon in 2002, and shortly afterwards I met Jane when she and her family came to this church. Jane, in her warm and friendly way, quickly endeared herself to me, and there started a close friendship that has continued and grown over the years. Jane is a unique and special person who has the ability to connect with all people in a loving and genuine way. And so she quickly became a much-loved member of Clevedon Presbyterian, known from the beginning as a woman of great faith, whose life was devoted to her Lord, her beloved family, and her friends, and as we all know, she has hundreds of them worldwide. Jane shared her faith journey with us in lots of ways. For many years, every Thursday night, we met in the home of Avis Kennedy. Avis, Jane, Claire, Heather, Ria, Jill, Roxy, and myself. These were special nights of sharing our faith and walking our life journeys together. Jane loved these evenings as we all did. When Avis became unwell, we transferred to Jane's home, where we spent many an evening tucked away in the cosy TV room, drinking tea and eating hot spicy Bombay mix. Jane introduced me to that. We all took turns at leading that group, Jane often sharing a DVD of an old friend who had inspired her Christian walk, and all of us sharing our stories. We didn't always see eye to eye on every theological point, but that never mattered, as there was always great love and respect for each other. For 14 years we held a women's retreat at Vaughan Park in Long Bay, and Jane was always one of the first to register. She loved the fellowship and always came away enriched by the message from the speaker. Jane had an uncanny knack of connecting with people, something I think we've all envied, and so it wasn't surprising that by the end of those weekends she'd made a deep friendship with the speaker, and of course that friendship would then become lifelong. For many years, every Wednesday morning at the church, we shared 7 o'clock prayer and communion with Jane and Jeff, Avis Kennedy and Elaine Bellamy, followed by a breakfast of scrambled eggs and toast made by Mark in the church lounge. These were special times of sharing fellowship and some robust conversation around faith. Jane was never afraid to confront Mark if she didn't agree with him theologically. I know she missed these mornings very much when they finished. Of course, she and Jeff had already spent an hour in prayer with Elaine before coming to communion at 7. Jane loved these times of prayer and fellowship. She was such a prayer warrior. For many years, she diligently headed up the prayer circle, sharing prayer requests with the group and always offering extra words of encouragement and inspiration. Jane was also a faithful supporter of many other church activities, Salt a Day, the Family Centre, and the monthly Thursday community lunches, just to mention a few. Jane and a lot of us also shared a love of music, singing together in the Choral Society of Papakura, as well as in all the choirs Gina organised for special events at the church. She had a great appreciation of fine music. I'm sure, Gina, she was your greatest fan. And she also supported many others in their musical ventures. There was nothing she liked better than hosting these events at her home. Jane, I know you would love the music that Gina has prepared for today, such a jubilant send-off and one so fitting for the person you are. Jane had a joy of life, a deep unswerving faith in God and love for all she encountered. She had a rare gift of connecting with people. I think this came about because of her genuine interest in those she met and her desire to support and encourage them in any way she could. Her friends were worldwide and she kept contact with them all. One of the girls commented that when she checked her mum's emails last week, there were thousands of them, undoubtedly sharing love and prayers of concern for her. And so her love and friendship with people was worldwide. Jane was well known for her generosity and hospitality. How many of us have benefited from those qualities? There was always someone staying at the Neikes, sharing warmth, love and good food with Jane and Jeff. Theirs is a home where faith, food and friendship and love were freely shared. Jane, as has been mentioned, had a childlike sense of fun and excitement, especially when it came to family events. Every birthday or celebration was a major event where, ably assisted by her beloved girls, the house would be transformed to suit the occasion. I will remember her great excitement when on her 70th birthday, the girls had 70 individually wrapped gifts around the house which she had to hunt for and find. As you can imagine, that would have taken quite a while, and she was so delighted with the whole event. Then there was the plotting and scheming for Jeff's 70th birthday. Jeff would not like the huge party she'd enjoyed for her 70th, so a surprise helicopter ride to Waiheke with pilot Jeremy West took the family to Waiheke for a family lunch celebration at a lovely vineyard. There was so much excitement from Jane regarding the surprise, and I believe that Jeff didn't suspect a thing. Jane adored her family. She was so proud of her 3 beautiful girls, and Jeff was her rock. In this day and age, it is a beautiful and quite rare thing to see such bonds in a family. You are truly blessed. We'll always remember Jane for her faith in her Lord. It was obvious to everyone, and that included complete strangers who likely discovered this faith in the first few minutes of conversation. She had a childlike faith that was unswerving and which held her through so many times of poor health and difficulties in her own life. We know that she is in a place of no more pain and celebrating new life with her Saviour. Jane, you left us too soon, but we'll never forget you. Your smile, your love, your faith are with us forever. I'd like to close with a scripture that we shared at home group at Jane's and which subsequently became very important to us from the message, Matthew 11, the words of Jesus. Are you tired, worn out? Get away with me and you will recover your life. I'll show you how to take a real rest. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. Keep company with me and you'll walk freely and lightly. Walk freely and lightly now, dear Jane, and go in our love.
So folks, this is where we have the quick fire round. We don't have time for long tributes, but does anyone want to come up and just bring a couple of sentences? Certainly no pressure to, but that opportunity is there if you'd like to. And if you have prepared a long thing, I apologise for putting you off. Cam, thank you. And if you would like to speak after Cam, just come and wait down here so we can move thoroughly.
I want to commend Jane for many things, but her interest and genuine care for younger people was quite profound. I think of Leighton and Lauren Nabi, who would have loved to have been here today, but they're in America. Just after we got married, I said, Jane, Davina and I are going to Warwickshire. I've got an uncle and aunt in Warwick. We're going to go. Well, when you get there, you have to go to Dover because these people are going on a holiday and they need someone to house sit. So we did. And when you're there, you have to go up the road to St Margaret's at Cliff, which is on the channel, and you had to have lunch with these people. So we did. And when you get up to Warwick, these people are on the canal and they're going on holiday, so you have to go and house sit for them for 2 weeks. So we did. And in hindsight, I don't know why we didn't just carry on to Florida and carry on to all sorts of other places, and she would have just lined it up, but you don't think about these things until afterwards. We spent a lovely year at St Paul's in Leamington Spa, and a lot of the older people in that congregation, obviously, of course, remember her, and really we could have filled a room of this size 10 times over with all the people that would have loved to have been here for her. So for her generosity and her free spirit of love, we thank you, Jane.
Hi, I'm one of the healers. For quite a few years, every Thursday I used to go and pick Jane up from home and take her to Avis's, and then the time came where Gordon would stay home, he couldn't go out anymore, so I would then pick Avis up and take her up to Jane's. So my sweet memories of Jane is the hospitality of not just her but her whole family, and she was a great gift giver, and gifting of herself and her love.
Good afternoon, everyone. Just wanted to say a few words about Jane. Jane was one of those true friends who was always there for you. She was interested in the path you were taking and always wanted to know of any upcoming events. Jane and Jeff have always been part of my support crew, and I thank you dearly, guys. It's just been one of the best things. She was probably one of the most kind-hearted and generous people that I've ever known, and she would always put your own problems before those of her own. She always had time for others. She was a positive, vibrant member of South Auckland Choral Society, and she was an absolute pleasure to have as part of the group. Her enthusiasm, beaming smile, as mentioned before, it was all infectious, and she was always looking forward to the next challenge. Absolute joy to have her around. Most of us here today, including myself, will always remember her positivity, encouragement and unwavering love that she had for her family and friends. And the following verse reflects on what we will all remember about her. Special people will always be ingrained in our heart and memory. Look through the tears, the sorrow, the pain. Reflect on the thoughts you want to retain. Remember the love, the warm embrace. Remember the touch, the smiling face. Remember the person so gentle and kind, who was always caring in action and mind. Always remember, never forget, people who live in our heart. And if you remember the person within, their spirit will never depart. Rest in peace, Jane.
A lot of people know me as Tarzan. Others know me as a bushwhack pastor from the old bit. Go back solid for the Lord Jesus Christ. Rock out to prisons, homes, on highways and byways, prostitutes, drug addicts. I met our beautiful sister in 2003. And our beautiful brother Jeff. I'd never seen so much Ottawa. Ottawa, I knew it. For God is love and love is God. Always took us in no matter what we were. Especially something like me. Jeff touched us in so many ways. And you follow beautiful kids, Dominic, Catherine, Mary, Louise. You follow us the light of the world. You encourage us, you change us from the inside out like the love of God. And Jane, it was an honour and a blessing. And it always, to me, for always, endless love like God is love. Because God has no end, everlasting love. So Rob, Mom, Jeff, Catherine, Mary, Louise, you follow as a true blue soldiers for the Lord Jesus. Yet thanks, Mark, that you are always in our home. You rock our souls. You rock our souls. You are like an endless light falling through.
Jane was our neighbour, and she was the kindest and most caring friend smile when he was adding one of his usual English quips to the conversation. The comments she made at Catherine's senior exercises, which with a similar sort of comments to the father over there. The way she mentioned Mary's skating and other claims to fame, and how she took photos of Louisa in this church when she was singing. This was our Jane, first and foremost a family lady, and to all of us here, the dearest friend we could have wished for.
We're now going to enjoy some photographic memories of Jane's life, and as we do, we're going to listen to the song Miracles.